Hello, my name is Christina Logie. The purpose of this training video is to teach you the 4 steps within positive coaching and to give you language that you can use when performing positive on the spot. We want positive behavior to be repeated, so we need to be thorough when we coach it. Lots of people leave their jobs because they don't feel appreciated. Good coaching takes you from being their boss to being their leader. We coach because success isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about what you inspire others to do. So let's look at a short section taken from the Practical Coach video.
Coaching is the process of letting people know that their performance matters to you. So let's look at those 3 critical times when you need to step up and be a coach. When you see someone doing good work, when you see someone doing poor work, and when you see someone on a dead-end road. It gets more complicated as we go along, so let's start with the easy stuff, the good work.
Here are the 4 steps of positive on-the-spot coaching. First, you need to tell your team member the very specific performance that you want to coach, and then you can ask them how they accomplished it. Everyone likes to talk about their positive accomplishments, so they should give you some details here. Then you want to name their personal qualities that they exhibited during this task. And lastly, but this is very important, you need to link their performance to the individual or corporate goals and how their behavior will directly influence the execution of these goals. Let's find out what happens when you don't take the time to do positive coaching for great performance.
Good night.
Good night, Audrey.
Maybe I need to set up the scene a little better. Okay. Audrey came in early so she could help put up displays before the store opening. She worked through her first break, and she only took 12 minutes for lunch because they were 2 people short. She did 3 special orders perfectly, and she just missed the last express bus home, and she stayed to help with the stock check. Okay? Now watch it again.
Good night.
Good night, Audrey.
Do you think she'll work that hard tomorrow? I wouldn't. But she's a good one. She'll show up on time, she'll do what she's told, and she'll go home. At least until she finds another job where her hard work matters to somebody.
I think the expression on Audrey's face says it all. She was so disappointed that no one took the time to appreciate the quality work that she'd put out. So let's find out what happens when you put all your energy into being positive and none of it into being meaningful.
Let me show you the secret of keeping a good worker like Audrey. You just have to open your mouth. Audrey's next boss was much better at that.
Audrey, great work today. I think we hit it out of the park.
Now there's an open mouth.
I just want to tell you that I appreciate all the little things you do around here. You know what I mean. You should have seen some of the losers we used to have around
Unfortunately,
here.
as nice and as rare as it is to get any kind of way to go, Audrey has absolutely no idea of what specifically she did right today.
Tomorrow is another day.
But at least this boss was trying to coach. Audrey knew without a shadow of a doubt that at the end of the day, her hard work mattered in some great big giant vague kind of way. And hey, that's a start. We'll take that. But why not spread it throughout the day? That's the secret of coaching good work. When you see it, say it.
Let's look at the first step. Let's suppose that you noticed Robert, a long-term team member who's had trouble adapting the Iris profile flow sheet. He sold a pair of progressives and a pair of rim view lenses, and of course matching frames to go with, to Mrs. Smith. He jotted down notes on the flow sheet during the pretest, in the warm transfer out, and then proceeded to ask lifestyle questions to Mrs. Smith at the dispensing table, and recorded her answers on the flow sheet. You feel that his use of the flow sheet and pamphlets is what helped Mrs. Smith make the decision to purchase the 2 pairs. Now is the time for some positive coaching. You can make it public because it's positive, and you want to reinforce good work as soon as you see it. You could say, Robert, I noticed that Mrs. Smith purchased a pair of progressives and a pair of rim view lenses, and that you were using the profile flow sheet with Mrs. Smith. You can pause here before continuing with the next step, which is ask your team member how they accomplished the task. Something easy like, how did you do that? or what did you do differently this time? This should lead to Robert telling you how he used the flow sheet, which is exactly what we want. Often people do good things unconsciously, and we want them to be aware of the good they did and how they did it so that they can do it again. Hopefully, Robert will tell you what he wrote, the questions that he asked, and the content he covered during the sale. Details are what you want here. You want them to paint you a picture. Sometimes this is when a team member will realize for himself what he did that led to the success he just had. If his answer is vague or non-committal, be a little more specific. You could say, what made you think to use the Iris Profile Flowsheet? But you don't want to give away the answer here. The key to having your team member open up and explain what they did differently this time is to be genuinely curious. Come to the conversation in a positive, curious, and of course appreciative manner. Your next step is to tie 1 or 2 relevant personal qualities to their behavior. In the first 2 steps, you've really just been observational and curious. Now you need to make sure you're genuine. Positive coaching is about elevating their status. Remember the SCARF model? Status is about relative importance to each other. Across species, status has been shown to be a critical factor in general health. We need to be genuine in our praise, so choose your personal quality wisely. All of these would be good personal qualities that you could use with Robert's situation. But since I know that he is relatively new to opticianry and that he cares deeply about his patients, I will use concern and caring. In Robert's case, I would say something like, Robert, your concern for Mrs. Smith's neck pain at the computer made Mrs. Smith feel comfortable that you were picking a lens with her best interests at heart. The last step is to link benefits of their behaviors not only to the Iris goals, but to something personal. Whatever it is that motivates them is the most appropriate response here. In Robert's case, I would say something like this. Robert, not only have you helped Mrs. Smith avoid the neck pain that she's been having at the computer, but you earned her respect as a dispenser, and you've earned yourself IVPs. I'm sure that if you repeat that with all of your patients, you will see an increase in your lifestyle lens percentage, and that is helping our location meet our team goals. You know your team member best. For Robert, he cares what the patient's perception of him is. He wants to gain the respect of his patients to build his self-confidence. IVPs are important to most of us, especially if you're saving for an Iris trip, and personal and team goals should be talked about during all of your positive coaching. If you're coaching your optometrist, I want you to remember that our Iris optometrists care deeply about their patients. They want the very best care for their patients. So when coaching them, please remember that the driving need that Iris optometrists have is for all of our patients to experience better vision. It really is at the very core of who we are at Iris. Let's watch a short clip from the Practical Coach video on an instance of positive coaching.
I'll hold that at the counter for you. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.
You have a nice sort of smile in your voice on the phone. Where'd you learn that?
Oh, thank you. I don't know. Just try to be nice, I guess.
Well, it's working.
Hi there. Did you find everything you needed? Just so you know, this model doesn't come with a cable, but ours are on sale through tomorrow. They're right over there.
Okay. I like how you recommended the cable. Saves them a trip. Would you mind if I had a new hire job shadow you tomorrow? He'd learn so much.
Sure.
Oh, hey, Audrey. Thanks for filling these out so completely. It helps me a lot.
You're welcome, Jerry. Good night.
Good night.
Do you think Audrey has any doubts about what she did right today? She went home feeling great. And what did the coach get out of it? Well, good work that gets noticed gets repeated. And I'm going to repeat that. Good work that gets noticed gets repeated. So remember, never let good work go unnoticed. When you see it, say it. That's how to coach good performance.
So just a quick review of the steps we just took. You need to give a specific example of the performance, ask how he accomplished the task, mention personal qualities that contributed to the performance, and link the benefits of the results to individual performance goals and corporate goals. In the last video clip, the coach was specific about the performance that he was appreciative of, but missed out on asking Audrey how she accomplished those tasks, and failed to mention the personal qualities or link the benefits of her performance to any goals. Though he did say, "Where did you learn that?" in the first clip, it's really not asking her how she accomplished it, and would not incite dialogue that would help discover what she did differently this time over last time. It's a good start, but let's take another look at Robert's example and how far we really need to go for our positive coaching to achieve a long-lasting positive effect on that team member. The whole conversation would sound something like this. "Robert, I noticed that Mrs. Smith purchased one pair of progressives and a pair of room view lenses, and that you were using the Eyres Profile Flow Sheet with Mrs. Smith. Of course, you can pause here before continuing with the next step. How did you do that?" Robert at this point will give you details on how he used the Eyres Profile Flow Sheet. "Robert, your concern for Mrs. Smith's neck pain at the computer made Mrs. Smith feel comfortable that you were picking a lens with her best interests at heart. You have not only helped Mrs. Smith avoid the neck pain that she's been having at the computer, but you earned her respect as a dispenser, and you've earned yourself IVPs. I'm sure that if you repeat that with all of your patients, you will see an increase in your lifestyle lens percentage, and that is helping our location meet our team goals. Coach positively, regularly. When you see good work, be sure to acknowledge it and take the 5 minutes as soon as you can to have a positive coaching session. Take good care of your team members. Regular positive coaching will result in a self-motivated team. We all want a happy, hard-working team, and positive coaching is the way to achieve it. Thank you for watching this positive coaching training video.